Hello everyone, I am Mahidhar from A&S department. So, in today's video, we are diving into one of the most useful programming languages out there, that is JavaScript. We will start with the basics, variables, loops, functions, arrays and objects, and then use those concepts to build a real Telegram chat box using node.js. So first of all, what is JavaScript? To move into the concepts behind the JavaScript, first of all, we need to know what is mainly JavaScript. JavaScript is a lightweight, interpreted, or just-in-time compiled programming language used to make the web pages interactive and more useful. It runs in browsers and with node.js can also run outside the browser on servers based on the usage we have to perform at the time. It powers web apps, automation tools, and chatbots, which are the major usage in today's generation. Chatbots like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity has become a major part of our life. Any question, any query, we are using the chat box. So, creating a chat box and knowing how to create it will be very useful in our future entities. So now first we move to variables. So as we see here, I prepared a Word document containing all the details of all the concepts in JavaScript. So first of all, if we go into the variables, variables are used for mainly variables as a part or a constant which stores certain data. Variables act as containers for data values in which data is stored very relatively. Modern JavaScript prefers let and constant instead of older where. If you say in old Java or if using C or any Python or any other languages, we use where as a concept for storing the variables. But now if you think in this JavaScript, we use let and constant. Those two variables are used for storing data. So they may change, means const is used for constants and let for variables. So they may differ according to our usage. So here is an example code. So let name Alex. So we are taking a person who is named Alex, age 21, and his living place is Hyderabad. So if we see here, 21 is a constant number. So here we used constant as the variable, and for Alex and Hyderabad we use let because those are name and city which are not constants. So for running it, to make it run, console.log and my name is plus name plus and I am. So this how to run a code, how to get an output. So simply we can say that variables are the containers which are used for storing data values. So the next part, if we go to, is conditional statements. Conditional statements allow programs to execute different code blocks based on conditions. So they may differ variously, but at the end of the day, what conditional statements is due to, they divide the code into different blocks, and they are mainly if and else. For example, if you take an example of something if else or any other, you might have learned in C. So we have to run a code that there is a possibility of a person to enter the room if he had such an age limit. So above 18 can enter into that room and below 18 cannot. So here we can take the example of if. Here we can use the code if the age greater than 18 they can enter or not. So here we have used the example for marks. So let marks is equal to 80. So if marks are greater than 90, then grade A. So if marks are greater than 75 and grade B, and if marks are greater than, if marks are neither of them, then it is grade C. So in this way, by using if or else if conditional statements, we can divide the code into different blocks according to our usage and our purpose. So next we move on to loops. Loops are repeating tasks. Loops allow a block of code to be executed multiple times. So if we take a code, it divides into different blocks. First block, second block and third block. But certain times we need to repeat certain block repeatedly so that we can get the different outputs while running the same block. So at that times loops play the major role. Here we have the examples of for, while and do while, which are very commonly used. So in this example code, for let I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus, console.log count and I. So this code you can see here. For this code, if you go it is the for loop runs repeatedly to print the numbers up to I. So it prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the answers as the code runs repeatedly. First, if I less than or equal to, if we take I plus plus. So here 1. First we can I less than or equal to 5. First it prints 1. So after 1 it comes to 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then the loop stops as our condition which we given here in this for loop. This condition is satisfied. The loop ends here. So next, if we go to arrays managing lists of data. Arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable. You can access items using an index starting from 0. So here it is written complex. So simply if you say arrays are the place in which multiple data types are stored in a single variable, so that it becomes easy to our access, and it also reduces the data space which can be occupied due to different arrays and different variables storing at different places. So for example code, if we take, there is an array of fruits. So in this there are multiple variables. One is apple, banana and mango. But they are all of same data type which are stored in the array fruits. So here if we print fruits, here apple, banana and mango, all three print at the same time. So this is what the major role of array. It makes our work easy by storing all the variables of same data type into one common root word. Objects are so simple. Here objects store data in key value pairs usefully for modeling real world entities like a person or a car. In simple words, I will say objects are real world entities. If you look at something in front of you, there is a book, it's an object. And remote, it's an object. Any phone, it's an object. Anything in normal world, what we use, those are objects. So for in this example code, if we say the person Alex, he's living in Hyderabad at the age of 21. So here we are talking about Alex. It's a real world entity. Age, yeah, and Hyderabad, the city or place, it's also a real world entity. So these are all comes into objects. So the next one is functions. Functions are useful code blocks. Functions let your group code into reusable blocks. They can take parameters and return results. Functions are simply, so you may confuse here. Either reusable code blocks means what they differ from loops. Loops are rather more different from functions. So loops, what they do, they are used to repeat the same block of the code repeatedly. But whereas the functions, no, not that. Functions differ from the loops. Functions are the certain code blocks which call back the value that already code had run and comes back to the same function block and reuses the code to run the block. So here given the example code, function create name, console.log hello plus name plus. So here it prints Alex repeatedly, neither like the loops but also the function recalls the value after completion of the code again. So here it given is callback, handling asynchronous operations. A callback is a function passed into another function as an argument and is executed after same operation has been completed. Useful for calls and async logic. Example code. Here it is given the callback function, which is majorly used to call a function back, means a certain block of code back when we required it in the code at certain part. So these are the main and major concepts involving Java. If we refer again once, variables which are used for the storing data, they are the containers in which data is stored. Conditional statements are programs to execute in different code blocks based on the condition we give. Loops are used to repeat a certain code block multiple times. Arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable. Objects are nothing but real world entities, and function is a code block into useful block. And callback function, it is also a function which is used to pass into another function as an argument to call back or return the function block at the time we have to use. So next, if we move on to node.js. So what is node.js? So node.js is a runtime that lets you execute JavaScript outside the browser. It is perfect for backend development, automation scripts and bots. So if we take JavaScript can be run inside a browser and also outside a browser. So for running the JavaScript code outside the browser, we require node.js. It is mainly useful for backend development for any data storage, data access, and data retrieval, or the search bots like Telegram. If you take, it is very major, and also Meta AI, ChatGPT. These are all our chat boxes which require JavaScript majorly. So how? First of all, here we given how can we download. So download node.js from here we have a link of where we can download node.js. So after downloading, after going into the link, we have to download node.js, verify it, and then so here it was given how to download. So